You might have tossed it aside without a second thought. A random envelope, a peculiar keychain, a gift from someone who vanished from your life just as suddenly as they arrived. But what if it wasn't just clutter? What if it was placed in your hands to dismantle your life from within? In Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah tells us about Sihr, black magic, used to drive a wedge between a husband and wife. And those who practiced it, they didn't need eerie rituals or dark beings. They needed only one thing: access. And the easiest way to gain access? Through something the victim accepts willingly. That's why Sihr is often disguised in the most unsuspecting forms. Seemingly thoughtful gifts, beautiful wrappings, items you'd never think twice about. Because once it's inside your home, the damage has already begun. In this video, we'll uncover 5 gifts, often used in witchcraft, and how to spot the red flags before it's too late. But first, let me ask you this. If someone handed you a beautifully wrapped box today, would you open it without hesitation? What if the real danger wasn't in the person, but in what they left behind? Some of the most devastating spiritual attacks didn't begin with curses or threats. They began with something that looked harmless, something that even smelled pleasant. Let's start with the first item. Gift 1. When a scent speaks without words. Islam encourages us to think well of others, to accept gifts with gratitude, to love for our brother what we love for ourselves. But we're also taught to stay vigilant. Not every gift is given with pure intentions. And sometimes the harm isn't in the person. It's in the object itself. Have you ever been gifted a perfume, an oil, or a scented item, and felt uneasy about using it? You didn't say anything. You didn't want to seem ungrateful. But something just felt off. Scents like oud, musk, or herbal oils are often used in Sihr. They can carry spiritual imprints, and it's incredibly easy to hide something sinister inside them. Even easier to get someone to apply it willingly. Some have shared chilling stories. It started with a small bottle of attar, given with a smile. They used it once, maybe twice. Then came the discomfort. Not in the scent, but in the sudden tension at home, the sleepless nights, the unexplainable pressure in the chest. Medical results showed nothing. But when they stopped using the gift and began regularly reciting Surah Al-Baqarah in their home, the symptoms began to fade. Coincidence? Maybe. But in the unseen world, we are taught not to ignore repeated signs. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Recite Surah Al-Baqarah in your homes, for the shaitan does not enter a house in which it is recited." That's our protection. So no, we don't live in fear of every gift. But we remain awake. We make dua before accepting. We recite over everything. Because sometimes the most powerful protection is simply saying Bismillah before you ever uncap that bottle. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you wore something someone gave you without really thinking about what it was? Not because you suspected them, but because it just felt a little too personal, too close to your skin, too near to your heart. What if the thing wrapped around your wrist was also the cause of your spiritual unrest? Gift 2. Threads, bracelets, and amulets. They seem harmless. A red string, a handmade bracelet from a holiday, a gift from a friend who said, "It brings peace." But here's what few people ever talk about. In many ruqya cases, the problem wasn't inside the body. It was tied around the wrist. Thread bracelets, charm accessories, beaded pieces. They've been used by certain people to silently pass Sihr through knots, strands of hair, or tiny scripts no one even notices. And the more spiritual it appears, the more trust it earns. You'd be shocked how many people wear something they don't actually understand just because someone said it had a deeper meaning. But if that meaning doesn't come from the Quran, what exactly are you wearing? Sometimes the item itself isn't dangerous. It's the belief we attach to it. This thread will protect me. This bead calms my soul. This charm has power. But real power only comes from Allah. And anything that shifts your trust, even slightly, is already a crack in your protection. You didn't mean to open the door, but once it's open, What enters doesn't need an invitation. Gift 3. Wall art, symbols, and spiritual decor. Now let's be honest. How many of us actually know what's hanging on our walls? That framed gift, that beautiful art piece you ordered online, the one with elegant swirls or symbols you never questioned. Could it be more than just decoration? Could it be a silent invitation? It might be sitting above your bed, right where you sleep, right where your soul is most vulnerable. What if that symbol, the one you thought was just a design, was never meant to bring peace? Shayatin don't care about how aesthetic your home looks. They care about permission. And they don't need you to say yes with words. They just need you to hang something that says it for you. Ruqya practitioners have uncovered curses hidden within framed calligraphy, symbols disguised as modern art, talismans printed into glossy decor, even Quranic verses distorted into abstract shapes that twist their meaning. Ask yourself honestly, would you hang something in your home if you knew it was designed to attract harm? Of course not. But that's the point, it's disguised. It's not the object itself. It's the opening. It's what your home unknowingly welcomes. When you prioritize vibes over verses, you wanted to create peace, but you hung something that brought unrest. You wanted meaning in your space, but the meaning wasn't from Allah. We scroll, we shop, we accept gifts, we rarely question. But in the world of Sihr, the harm often enters looking like beauty. The wall becomes a doorway, and sometimes the harm isn't in the object itself. It's in the silence you've kept around it. Let me ask you another way. What if something in your home was quietly affecting your life, but blended in so naturally, you never even thought to question it? Not because you were careless, but because you assumed it was harmless. What if the very thing disturbing your peace was the one item you thought meant nothing at all? Gift 4. The overlooked object, assumed to be safe. We all have that one thing at home, a souvenir, a decoration, a leftover gift from someone long forgotten. It's not strange. It's not scary. It's just there. But in the world of Sihr, the most dangerous objects are often the ones you never think to check. It's not always a black thread or a twisted symbol. Sometimes it's something ordinary, a bowl, a mirror, a glass ornament that looks purely decorative, but carries something else with it. Ask yourself, when did the arguments start? When did the atmosphere shift? When did your child begin waking up with nightmares? No, not everything is Sihr, but not everything should be dismissed either. In some Ruqya cases, healing began not with intense rituals, but by removing one forgotten item sitting quietly in the corner. It was never about how it looked. It was about what it carried. So look around your home again, not with fear, but with awareness, because what you thought was just background decor might be the reason your peace slipped out the door. Forget the package. What if the real danger didn't arrive in a box, but in a conversation? A moment when you opened up, thinking it was safe, but the person listening wasn't who you believed they were. Sign 5. The shared secret, not a gift, but a gateway. Not every spiritual attack starts with an object. Some begin with access, and sometimes that access comes from one sentence you never should have said. You were venting. You were vulnerable. You trusted the wrong person. But not every listener is a well-wisher. Not every shoulder is clean. And sometimes the most dangerous form of Sihr doesn't come wrapped in ribbon, comes through exposure. In Islam, privacy isn't just a virtue. It's a shield. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Seek help in fulfilling your needs in secrecy, for every blessed one is envied." You might never realize which comment, which detail, which shared joy gave someone enough fuel to ruin your peace. Not because they were magicians, but because envy alone can be enough to cause harm. So yes, Sihr is real, but that doesn't mean everyone around you is out to harm you. We don't live in paranoia. We live in tawakkul, complete trust in Allah. And sometimes protection doesn't look like locking every door. Sometimes it looks like guarding your words, questioning what enters your home, And turning to Allah first, always. It means knowing when to stay silent, even when your heart feels wide open. Because the truth is, no gift, no object, and no person holds real power over your life. So what really protects us? You might still be wondering, what now? Should I live in fear? Should I doubt every person or reject every gift? No, that's not what Islam teaches. True protection starts and ends with Allah, not with suspicion, not with avoidance, but with remembrance, clarity, and intention. So before you scroll away, ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you made Allah your first shield, not your last resort? Because walking around paranoid, blaming people without proof, that's not Islam. That's was. What Islam teaches is prevention, rooted in the Quran. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Recite Surah Al-Baqarah in your homes, for shaitan does not enter a house where it is recited. So protect your space with what Allah already gave you. Recite the last 2 verses of Surah Al-Baqarah before sleeping. Make your morning and evening adkar. Recite Surah Al-Ikhlas, Al-Falaq, and An-Nas 3 times each every morning and evening. You don't need to fear what others hide. You need to remember who protects. So don't obsess. Don't isolate. Don't stop living. Instead, live aware, live prayerfully, and trust that when Allah protects, no hand can harm. Say this with me, Ya Allah, protect my home, my family, and my heart from every harm, hidden or seen." If this reminder touched you, share it with someone who may need it. And if you're still here, maybe that's not by accident. Maybe this was the protection your heart needed today. Subscribe for more reminders. And may Allah guard you always. White Heart.